You know what the biggest mistake most people make in life is? They spend more time focusing on everyone else's journey, and they completely forget about their own. Imagine planting a seed but then running to your neighbor's garden every single day, comparing, judging, wishing, and wondering why your seed hasn't grown. That's exactly what happens when you don't focus on yourself. The truth is, your energy, your attention, and your time are some of the most powerful resources you have. But here's the problem: most people waste them by scattering them everywhere. They worry about what others think, what others are doing, and whether they are moving faster or slower than someone else. But the reality is, when you shift all that focus back onto yourself, onto your growth, your discipline, your mindset, and your purpose, that's when life starts to change in ways you can't even imagine. Think about it. When was the last time you gave yourself the same attention you give to other people's opinions? When was the last time you treated your own growth like it was your number one priority? Most people spend hours scrolling, comparing, doubting, criticizing, but they barely spend a few minutes working on themselves. The problem isn't that we don't have time. The problem is that we don't have focus. Focusing on yourself doesn't mean being selfish. It means understanding that if your cup is empty, you can't pour into anyone else's. It means recognizing that your mind, your body, and your spirit are your responsibility. Nobody else can build your confidence for you. Nobody else can work on your habits. Nobody else can heal your wounds. That's on you. And the sooner you take that responsibility, the faster you'll see your life transform. Here's the secret: the more you focus on yourself, the more you have to give to the world. People confuse self-focus with self-centeredness. But in reality, self-focus is self-mastery. When you work on yourself, your mindset, your health, your skills, you become someone who naturally inspires others. Your presence becomes powerful, not because you're trying to outshine anyone, but because you've built something within that can't be shaken by outside noise. Now, let's break this down. Focusing on yourself starts with awareness. You can't improve what you're not aware of. Take a moment to ask yourself, what areas of my life am I neglecting right now? Maybe it's your physical health. Maybe it's your mental peace. Maybe it's your goals and dreams that you've been putting off because of fear or doubt. Awareness is the first step, because once you see it, you can't unsee it. And once you see it, you can change it. The second step is discipline. Focus doesn't survive without discipline. You can't expect to grow if you're only motivated when things feel easy. Discipline is showing up for yourself when you don't feel like it. Discipline is saying no to distractions, no to toxic comparisons, no to the things that drain your energy. Think of focus like a magnifying glass. When the sunlight is scattered, nothing happens. But when the light is concentrated, it can set a fire. Your focus works the same way. Another part of focusing on yourself is learning how to silence the noise. We live in a world where everyone has an opinion about how you should live your life. But here's the truth: opinions don't pay your bills, they don't build your dreams, and they don't create your future. What does? Your actions. Your consistency. Your ability to block out the noise and put your energy into what actually matters. And let me remind you, comparison is the thief of joy. When you constantly measure your life against someone else's, you will always feel behind. But here's the reality: no one is running the same race. You're not supposed to look like them, move like them, or live like them. Your path is your own. Focusing on yourself means respecting your own timeline, your own pace, and your own journey. Now, focusing on yourself isn't just about cutting things out. It's also about adding in the right things. Start feeding your mind with knowledge that empowers you. Read. Listen to powerful messages. Surround yourself with people who lift you up instead of pulling you down. Fuel your body with the right food, the right rest, the right movement. Fill your environment with things that remind you of your goals, your vision, and your purpose. One of the most powerful shifts you can make is replacing "Why is this happening to me?" with "What can I learn from this?" That's what self-focus teaches you. Life will always bring challenges, but when you're focused inward, challenges don't break you. They build you. You start to see setbacks as setups. You stop wasting time blaming others and start taking full control of what you can do today. Focusing on yourself also means setting boundaries. If you don't protect your energy, people will drain it without hesitation. Learn to say no when something doesn't align with your growth. Learn to walk away from environments that make you shrink instead of expand. Boundaries aren't about pushing people away. They're about protecting the space you need to grow. Here's something most people don't realize: success, happiness, peace. These things don't come from outside validation. They come from self-alignment. And you can't align with yourself if you're constantly distracted by what others are doing. The people you admire didn't get there by watching everyone else. They got there because they had tunnel vision on their craft, their growth, their mission. And that's exactly what you need to cultivate. And let's be real, focusing on yourself is not always easy. It means facing parts of yourself you've been avoiding. It means admitting where you've been slacking, where you've been inconsistent, where you've let fear control you. But that's the beauty of it. Growth happens when you get honest with yourself. When you stop running from your flaws and start working on them. The more you focus on yourself, the more you realize how much power you actually have. Power to change your habits. Power to rewire your thoughts. Power to build the life you want. That power was never outside of you. It was always within. You just had to stop scattering your attention and finally direct it inward. So ask yourself today, am I living for me, or am I living for the approval of others? Am I spending my energy building my own dreams, or am I wasting it watching other people live theirs? The shift is simple. When you focus on yourself, you become unstoppable. And here's the final reminder I'll leave you with: you are your greatest investment. Not your job, not your possessions, not the opinions of others, you. Because when you build yourself, when you sharpen your mind, strengthen your body, and align your spirit, everything else in life starts to align too. So stop waiting. Stop comparing. Stop giving your energy away to everything and everyone else. It's time to turn inward. It's time to focus on yourself. Because the moment you do, you'll realize you had the power all along. But let me give you something practical you can apply right now. Take out a piece of paper, or even open your phone notes, and write down 3 areas of your life where you know you've been neglecting yourself. Don't overthink it. Maybe it's your health. Maybe it's your finances. Maybe it's your mindset. Whatever comes to mind first, write it down. That's where your focus needs to return. Now, for each one, ask yourself a simple question: what's one small action I can take today that puts me back in control? Notice I didn't say tomorrow, I didn't say next week, I said today. Because focus is built in the present moment, not in the future. If it's your health, maybe that means drinking more water instead of reaching for soda. If it's your finances, maybe that means finally sitting down and reviewing where your money goes each month. If it's your mindset, maybe that means spending 15 minutes reading something uplifting instead of scrolling endlessly. When you focus on yourself consistently, something powerful happens: you start to build momentum. Momentum is like a snowball rolling downhill. At first it's small and hard to push, but as it moves, it gets bigger and faster until it's unstoppable. That's exactly how self-focus works. At first, it feels uncomfortable. You'll want to go back to distractions, back to comparing, back to wasting time. But if you push through that initial resistance, suddenly you'll look back and realize how far you've come. Here's another important piece. Focusing on yourself also means celebrating your progress, no matter how small. Too many people ignore their small wins because they're so obsessed with the big picture. But the truth is, the big picture is built on the small wins. Every rep in the gym counts. Every page you read counts. Every time you choose peace over drama, it counts. These moments stack up, and they turn into transformation. Let me share a mindset shift that can completely change the way you see yourself. Instead of saying, "I'll focus on myself when life slows down," start saying, "I'll focus on myself so life feels lighter." Life never slows down. There will always be bills, responsibilities, and noise. But when you are centered, when you've built yourself up, those things don't crush you anymore. You carry them with strength, not with struggle. And here's something that might sting a little: but it's the truth. If you don't focus on yourself, someone else will decide your life for you. If you don't set your own goals, you'll end up working to fulfill someone else's. If you don't train your mind, you'll be manipulated by the opinions of others. If you don't take control of your time, other people will take it from you. That's why self-focus is not optional. It's survival. Let's get even deeper. Focusing on yourself also means healing. Some of you have been carrying old wounds, things from your past, words people spoke over you, experiences that made you doubt your worth. And here's the reality. You can't truly focus on your growth if you haven't faced your pain. Healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means learning the lesson, releasing the weight, and choosing not to let it control you anymore. That's also part of self-focus, choosing to be free. And remember, focusing on yourself is not a one-time event. It's a daily practice. Just like you don't get fit from one workout, you don't transform your life from one moment of clarity. You have to keep showing up. Some days you'll feel strong, other days you won't. But even on the hard days, you keep your focus. That's what builds resilience. That's what builds character. Let me leave you with a picture to hold in your mind. Imagine your life as a house. If you keep looking at everyone else's house, comparing their windows, their paint, their furniture, you'll never build your own. But the moment you pick up your tools, your bricks, your vision, and you start laying them down every single day, you create something that's yours. Something solid. Something real. That's what happens when you focus on yourself. So the question isn't whether you should focus on yourself. The real question is, when will you finally decide that you are worth it? Because the moment you do, your life will never look the same.